Okay, let's unpack this. We've had this image for ages, the alpha.
Hmm.
Usually the loudest guy, the most dominant one in the room. But what does that really mean today? Is it still about being aggressive?
Yeah, it's interesting. One perspective we looked at, it really flips that idea on its head.
Mm.
It suggests that being loud or aggressive,
Mm.
well, that's just noise. It's ego, maybe even, temporary.
Temporary. Okay.
Exactly. And instead, this source gives us a really surprising insight. It says discipline. Discipline is the new alpha.
Discipline. Okay, so not shouting, not flexing.
Mm.
So our mission here for this deep dive is to figure out why. Why is discipline this thing that, like the source says, doesn't shout, doesn't bark, doesn't flex? Why is that now seen as so powerful? Especially, in a world that seems hooked on shortcuts and distractions. It calls it the rarest trait in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find really interesting, this is where it gets good, are the examples. It's not big, flashy stuff. It's these quiet, consistent actions. Like the person waking up at 5 a.m. without a single soul watching. Or, putting in reps when no one claps. Eating clean when nobody's checking your plate. Stacking cash, but not, like, blasting it online.
Yeah, those unseen moments.
Exactly. And that 5 a.m. alarm, wow, without anyone watching, that feels like a real test right there.
It does. And that's why, according to this perspective, these quiet things make discipline so, well, dangerous, so untouchable.
How so? Dangerous how?
Well, this disciplined person, they aren't chasing validation from others, right? They're not defined by clicks or claps. The material puts it like this. They don't chase women. They attract them because of that self-mastery.
Okay. Internal focus.
Exactly. They don't cry about money. They create it.
Yeah.
Through this steady, consistent effort. And maybe most importantly, they don't beg for attention. They earn respect, through just delivering, through integrity.
Well, building from the inside out then, not demanding things from the outside.
Precisely.
It's so easy to think success just comes from, I don't know, talent, genetics, or just getting lucky. We see someone successful and think, oh, they must have just had it easier.
Right. The talent myth.
Yeah. How does this discipline idea change that whole story? Why is that shift important?
Well, this viewpoint basically says no, flat out. It argues success comes from doing what most won't do every damn day. It's not about luck.
Every day.
Yeah. It defines discipline as a choice, a deliberate one. It's about showing up whether you feel like it or not. It's rejecting comfort, canceling excuses, and really crucially, prioritizing purpose over pleasure. Consistently.
Regardless of how you feel in the moment.
Exactly. That's the core of it.
And that really seems like the key difference, doesn't it? I mean, anyone can get motivated for a day, right? Where you hear a speech, get an idea, boom, you're fired up.
Before, we've all been there.
But the material makes a point. It takes a beast to stay disciplined for years. And that sustained effort, that quiet grind, that's what it claims builds empires and creates legends. Not just a flash in the pan.
Precisely. And that really speaks to now, doesn't it? The core message is pretty stark. In 2025, the loudest man isn't the alpha. The most disciplined one is.
So it's a call for personal control then?
Absolutely. It's saying, control your actions, control your urges, control your mind. That's where the real power lies, according to this view.
So wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for us, for you listening? It feels like a pretty big shift in what genuine power and influence look like today. Less about the outward show, much more about that solid, unwavering foundation you build quietly.
Which leads to, I think, an important question for you to consider. If this quiet, consistent discipline is the new benchmark for strength, how can you embrace that? Maybe think about one small thing, one concrete step. How can you wake up tomorrow and be that man or woman, of course, that disciplined person who consistently builds something worthwhile? Something to think about.